A thread by Carlos Osuida. Somebody posted a video from 2015 warning about the dangers of Islam. Watch and learn, she wrote. After I posted my response, she blocked me. Carlos responded, actually, you need to learn. That video was posted in 2015. Given everything that's happened to Islam since 2015, your video is about as relevant as an alchemist's book of formulas. King Salman assumed the Saudi throne on January 23rd, 2015. He was 79 years old at the time, and he went to work within hours. One of the first things he did was strip a Saudi prince of his title and possessions. The prince had slapped a servant in public. Salman's closest advisor was and is his son, Mohammed bin Salman, and we may refer to him as MBS from time to time. MBS made surprise visits to all the government offices in the kingdom. "Show me the books," he said. When they couldn't, he fired the entire staff and replaced them with technocrats, people with no political affiliations, no connections to the House of Saud. The Saudis asked our top diplomat, Zalmay Khalilzad, to Riyadh, and they made the first admission of its kind in the Muslim world. They admitted to once having supported terrorism. On the record, massive loss of face, but they did it anyway. And they promised to make amends. You need to understand that in 1979, Islamists tried to overthrow the House of Saud. To stay in power, the Saudis agreed to adopt the strictest form of Sunni Islam. We're all familiar with it. But the Saudis had a secret plan. They educated hundreds of thousands of their citizens in the West. This is why so many Saudis are bilingual English speakers. The long-term Saudi plan was a stealth reformation. Our own reformation came with much bloodshed. The Saudis spent years preparing their citizens for freedom. The emancipation of women is being done in an especially brilliant way. By the time women are fully emancipated, they'll already be running the country alongside men. An Iraqi writer said this: "The Americans freed us from our cage, but we didn't know how to fly." Saudi Arabia isn't making the same mistake. They're modernizing on their terms at their own speed, and it's working. Al-Azhar University in Cairo is the Sunni Muslim Vatican, roughly speaking. The Grand Imam of Al-Azhar is Ahmad al-Tayyib. He's quietly had conferences with leaders of non-Abrahamic religions in Saudi Arabia. This is technically prohibited, but he does it anyway. Every now and then he says things that the West finds incendiary. Words. It's his actions that count. Islam is over 1,300 years old, but people demand change now in a way that is impossible. I don't care about words. I care about actions. I was told over and over that a reformation couldn't happen because the Quran is considered set in stone. Well, Mohammed bin Salman announced that the Quran calls on Muslims to spread the word of Islam. With the advent of modern technology, the word has been spread. Therefore, everybody now knows about it, and Muslims can go about their business. MBS also said that every man and woman on earth must choose individually how to worship God, if at all. So it's not prohibited to impose any religion. It is now prohibited to impose any religion by force. A Pakistani asked me indignantly, "Who's Mohammed bin Salman to be making such pronouncements?" "He's the Muslim with the most firepower," I answered. All mosques in Saudi Arabia are now monitored electronically and with undercover agents. All sermons must be submitted in advance and approved by the government. None of this is secret information. If you're afraid of Islam, there's no excuse for you not knowing all of this. The Saudis were criticized for the war in Yemen. Well, guess what? The Houthis claim a divine right to rule the world. They're the Shia Islamic State. Their plan was to turn Yemen into a hub for exporting armed imperialist jihad. Tell me again why it was wrong for the Saudis to defeat them. The only people you need to worry about are leftists. How many wars do they want us to start? I've lost count. Movie Bob Productions tweeted, "So has enough time passed at this point that it wouldn't be too awkward for the Germans to swing in and take care of this obviously dangerous nutcase, running Poland before it gets all genocide-y? Or is it just the job of us dirty counts that we have to be the good team again?" I have no idea why we have to go to war with Poland. War to stop the Shia Islamic State, bad. War waged on Poland, good. It must make sense somewhere, deep inside Movie Bob's head. I don't know who Bob Chipman is. Let me look him up. Well, he's a baseball player who died in 1973. That explains a lot. Life in 2020 would be confusing to a baseball player who died in 1973. To him, Poland was full of dirty commies, and neither the Houthis nor the Islamic State existed. So he gets a pass for having been dead for almost half a century. The Yom Kippur War was also fought in 1973. Israel defeated 10 countries simultaneously. Those 10 countries were supported by leftists, the Soviet Union. Guess what happened in the Yom Kippur War? The leftists gave the Syrians state-of-the-art T-52 main battle tanks that outperformed the modern British tanks that the Israelis had. But the Israelis had a secret weapon. A World War II American Sherman tank with massive high-velocity, long-range French 105mm guns. The Sherman armor was like cardboard, but the French gun allowed the cardboard Shermans to destroy the modern Syrian tanks long before the Syrians got into the firing range of their own guns. Greg Gutfeld said, "Human ingenuity can't be predicted." In 1973, change came at a snail's pace. Today, President Trump is making the world better on an hourly basis. So are the Saudis, the best allies we ever had. All of our allies are different. They're all important, but we'll never be able to thank the Saudis for what they did for us. And they did it out of gratitude that we're out of the business of messing up the Middle East. For good, all is well. The best is yet to come.